Hey guys, it's Sage. I want to say sorry for how long it took for another episode of my car series to come out. There are many reasons why. Number one, I got my wisdom teeth out and I was in bed for weeks. It was terrible. Number two, I've been traveling the past month and I just haven't been home to work on the car. And number three is that I've been in summer school all of July and August, so I've been spending most of my days doing homework and schoolwork and classes and things like that. But I'm here today to inform you about what's going on and what we're gonna do. When I was away, I received a special package, but I'm going to insert a clip that I took a couple weeks ago to understand what this package is and why it's important. Today is the end of Prime Day. If you don't know what that is, it's basically on Amazon, they give you 2 days where if you don't have a Prime account, you basically get to act like you have a Prime account, so you can order things with like free shipping or fast shipping, or there's some really good deals, that kind of thing. So I wanted to use that to my advantage, and in one of the past videos, I said that I wanted to get a Haynes manual for my car, which is basically like it explains every part of it and it kind of gives you like troubleshooting for it. It tells you everything that could go wrong with it, how to fix it. There's really there's a lot in there and I don't even fully know what's all in that book, but it will majorly help us with fixing this engine problem and any other problems that we want to fix in the future. Hopefully there aren't any, or any like cosmetic things or things we want to fix just for fun. So it's really going to be helpful. So let me show you what I found. This is the Haynes manual that would go with my car. It was actually made in 1988, so even the book is vintage, which I love. But yeah, it kind of covers Triumph Spitfires from 62 all the way to 81, which is very cool. It's kind of like a bunch of different like years of them, but it says 62.95, which I mean is worth it because it gives a lot of useful information. But I noticed this little button over here. This is by use for 1820. It's just someone used the book and I don't know how they're sending it to me. I hope it's not too used because I can't really know how used it's gonna be. So we really just have to keep our fingers crossed, but I think 1820 is much better than 65, and if it's gonna have all the same information, then I think that's totally worth it. So I'm going to go ahead and purchase that used book. The only thing is, I think this one isn't actually Prime eligible, so I get free delivery, but it's gonna come between August 4th and 25th, which is crazy and a super long time span. The 4th to the 25th is a really long time, and I really don't believe it's going to come August 25th. I mean, it could, but I really think that I will get it before then, like early August, and if I'm lucky, late July. I mean, I don't see why there's any reason why I can't get this book any sooner than that. That's kind of crazy. I also want to show you guys that Haynes has their own website, and I looked at it on here, but it was a bit pricier, and this is in USD, and then for shipping it was going to be another $24 USD, so that was going to be a lot more when I could just get it from Amazon. So I'm hoping that the used book is all right. And on here you can get like tons and tons of different types of vehicles. So if you are working on any type of vehicle, could be an older car, could be a brand new one, anything like that, then you should definitely take a look at this because it is super helpful. Now you know I got my Haynes manual and it says it's from Brit Books, which is cool. So we're gonna open it together. But this is the Triumph Spitfire Haynes manual, and it says it covers the MK2 all the way to 4 and the 1500, which covers the years 1962 to 1981. And it's just so pretty. This is the owner's manual, but it's a workshop manual, so it's gonna kind of help me, it's really gonna help me take this thing apart. It's gonna tell me troubleshooting, and really it's gonna help us out a lot in this journey. Let me read the back to you. It says, get to know your car a little better. The clear step-by-step illustrated instructions covering the dismantling, inspection, repair, and refitting of the engine, cooling system, fuel and emission control systems, exhaust, ignition system, clutch, manual, gearbox, propeller shaft or drive shafts, braking system, electrical system, suspension, steering, bodywork, and fittings. Routine maintenance, complete specifications, and detailed fault diagnosis procedures are also included. For rear axle differential units and automatic transmissions, where applicable, the removal, refitting, and fault diagnosis procedures only are covered. So it says only Haynes completely stripped and rebuilds the car for each manual. So this is going to cover anything I could ever want with the car. So I wanted to make sure I got this first before I got into it, because this is really gonna help me out. In here it says Haynes Publishing Group 1983, 1986, 1987, and 1988. So I don't know exactly what year it's from, but this is definitely from the 80s, and I don't know, that's just so cool to me. I love vintage stuff. I just took a quick look through the book, and chapter 1 is actually all about engines, and there's a whole section about pistons, which as of right now, we believe a piston is either loose or completely broken. And there are a few ways that I could go about repairing this, and I've gotten a lot of amazing helpful comments, and I'm so thankful for them. And I've been talking to some people that I know, and I'm not 100% sure where we're gonna start yet, but I'm gonna look through this book and talk to some more people and look through the comments again and figure out a specific plan for how I'm gonna take this thing on. I wanted to show you the actual book on its own. There is a little bit of coffee or something there, but really, that's not the end of the world. So when you open it up, it has the contents and some images of different Triumphs. When I first looked, I didn't, oh there's a 1500, boom, that's mine, cute. And yeah, these are just super cute. I love these. So here is all the parts about the engine, and a lot of it is going to be very helpful to us. I just wanted to show you guys though, it's full of images and different things, and it really just shows you a lot of stuff. This is the engine sump removal and refitting, and here is the pistons, connecting rods. So that's going to be super helpful to us. This is what we were looking at last video, and this is we're probably gonna have to take off the sump to drain the oil, but this is just going to be super duper helpful. And there was another part, let's see if I can find it. It was basically like symptoms, like reasons for why things could be happening. And oh, this is really helpful. This is an exploded view. So it's all the parts, and that's going to be super amazing because that's exactly what I need. I need to know what everything is and where it all goes. This part I find very interesting because it's symptoms and reasons for things. So that's going to be helpful with dealing with this. And this one, unusual noises. So it could be any of these things. And then I can just go and figure out how to fix them. I have a bunch of stuff here that I want to show you guys, but first I want to go back to that book we were looking at earlier. There's this really helpful diagram, and it has everything labeled, and it tells me exactly what they are. So I've been going through it and just trying to understand where each piece is, where it goes, what it does, all that kind of stuff. Soon I'm hoping to actually get out there and look at the car and try and place them in real life so that I can actually understand the diagram a bit better. But I wanted to show you guys some of the main parts that we think are correlating to the issue. Here you can see these two 65 and 65. Those are the push rods, and we think the issue may either be these are loose from 64, which are the tappets, and they could either be loose, one of them, or it could be loosened a little bit, or it could be broken or just detached. Something with 65 and 64, so the push rods and the tappets. There is another diagram of more of the intricate stuff on the next page and of the internal components. And if you see 32 here, which is, let's find it down here, 32, the connecting rod, we may also have a problem with that. It could be detached, or something could be worn down, or something like that. So those are kind of the three main things that we are looking at for the problem. This is on the next page, and it's actually really interesting. It's major operations with engine in place, and I'm hoping to keep it in place to do the beginning stuff, and then if we need to take it out, of course we'll take it out, and that's all up here. But some of the things I can do are the removal and replacement of cylinder head assembly, which I might need to take a look at the cylinder heads, the removal and replacement of the sump, which I will definitely be doing, removal and replacement of big end bearings, I need to look at those, see if they're worn down or anything, removal and replacement of pistons and connecting rods, that's probably our main issue, and so that's awesome that we can do that with the engine still in place, removal and replacement of the timing chain and gears and the timing cover oil seal, removal and replacement of the camshaft, removal and replacement of the oil pump, and then it just says before commencing work to disconnect the battery, earth, lead. The next thing I wanted to go over is actually some of the super sweet and helpful and kind comments that I've received on mainly episode 2 and episode 3, because those are when we've been dealing with this issue, but all of the car videos people have been super sweet and I'm super thankful for that. But I have some notes here just on my computer because I didn't want to mess up any of the comments, so let's go over them. In episode 2, Corey Lyman suggested that pieces of the piston rod were in my engine oil, which we saw that little gritty bits, and so I really shouldn't be worrying about any of the cosmetic stuff, which of course is completely to the side now. You know, my plan was to have it all looking cute, but we're not worrying about that right now. We need to get it moving, and so I can learn how to drive it. But yeah, so cosmetic stuff, not gonna worry about it. I hope I am pronouncing this right, but Nick Yellowsukis recommended that we do a compression test, which we did end up doing in episode 3, and we figured that there was actually no compression in the third, so that was super helpful. Owen Pettiford said that my issue is probably with the crankshaft, so I should start by removing the oil sump, and that way I can tighten or replace the piston connecting rods, and I can do all this without taking the engine out, which is fantastic. And since it's all still in, but once I take those things out, I can inspect the crank bearings and check out everything else I can see and see if there's any other issues that we don't know about. Virtual Gooth agreed that the diagram I showed in episode 3 may not exactly correlate with what my problem is. My problem is more likely lower down in the engine block rather than in the cylinder head, which is kind of what I was showing. He also gave me some great advice, which was to take lots of photos and get some organizing bins, so as I take everything apart, I know where it is and I know how to put it all back together. Corey Lyman also commented under episode 3 saying that I should leave the engine in, drain the oil, and remove the sump, which is probably gonna be some of my first steps, but then I can check the crank journal for scoring and see what else needs to be done in that area. I did actually have a great recommendation from somebody in my area who knows a lot about Triumphs, and they said that there's a local machine shop who's very familiar with them and who might be able to either repair any damage that I have to my block, or they could actually suggest or do some performance like enhancements and modifications, which would be awesome. Again, I'm not worried about performance enhancement right now, I just need to get it going, but if I'm gonna have to replace something major in the engine or with regards to anything else in the car, might as well figure out what I'm gonna do in the future and do it all at once. Nick from earlier also commented on episode 3, and he said that cylinder 3 is the most common one to blow a connecting rod, which is really interesting because that was the one for me that didn't have any pressure. And if it is the connecting rod, then the whole engine does have to come out, which is unfortunate, but I'm okay with doing that. I'm gonna learn and it'll be a fun experience. He also mentioned that it was a valve seat, so by taking out the cylinder head, I'll actually be able to find out which of these two issues that I have, and that way I can do that with the engine still in and then figure out if it has to come out or not. I realized in the very first video I did about this car, I should have showed this really cool stuff, but honestly, it slipped my mind. I was just too excited. But I have all of the original paperwork and some really cool stuff, so I'd like to go through it and show you guys some of it. First, I have this. It says Triumph Spitfire 1500 Handbook, and you can tell this is from when the car was made. It says owner's handbook, and it says publication in 73, so I can assume it was printed around the same time. But yeah, cute little Triumph in there, and it's just super old, but I realized obviously this has very important information that I'm gonna need and I could have used. Namely, when I was trying to figure out how to put on the soft top and the tonneau cover, it says exactly how in here. When I was trying to figure out where the snaps went, it's all in the handbook, but I was too excited and I wasn't thinking about this. But I think that is super cool. I also have this from when the car was first bought, and super duper cool. I have the person's original name and address, which I'm not going to show on here, but I'm going to cover the name. But I have the passport, and it goes through a lot of the work that was done, like the checkups and stuff, and it's very cool. Yeah, I can see like the date it was checked, and there's all these little like stamps. Very cool. It is unfortunate that most of the stamps are not filled, so they didn't continue updating it, but Oh well. I have this import paper and it shows that it was from the country of origin, United Kingdom. So I'm not sure if I fully went over this in a video, but basically this car was purchased in the United Kingdom but immediately shipped over to Canada because it was purchased by a Canadian diplomat who lived in Ottawa. And so it is one from the UK, but that's why it has the steering on the side that we drive on, and it was shipped right over here and never actually driven in the UK, but it was purchased there. I also have this wiring diagram, which is very interesting. And I mean, if we have any problems with the wiring or electrical, I'm sure this will come in handy, but very cute and color coordinated. These are very cool to me. I'm not going to show you the other side because it has the original owner's name on them, but they are super old, and some of them they're basically the repairs that were done on it, and some of it's interesting, so I'll read it to you. October of 1979, the tappets were fit new, so maybe there was a problem there with them. The writing on here is pretty tricky to read, so I can't find it right now, but earlier there was something about a piston rod, I think refitting or repair, so maybe this is the thing with this specific car that I have. It's always had an issue. I don't know, but very interesting. We didn't see anything major on there, like big engine stuff. It was mostly just like oil change, checkups, fixing brakes, things like that over the years. This is very interesting. It's a little laminated piece, and it actually says that the wire wheels were purchased. And on my car, I have some fancy rims that I've been told were only the UK ones, and most people here, like in North America, didn't have them. Those were just the UK ones. They were special ones. But it looks as though the wire wheels it came with like the original wire wheels that everyone sees. I don't know the exact details of it, but I much prefer the rims that I have. So I'm thankful that I have the fun, cool, shiny ones. Those might have been changed over the years, maybe by the original person, but it says right here, purchase of wire wheels. So, or not purchase, but that's what came with the car. I don't know. But it is very interesting that because, first of all, of the year, the car was bought for $1,068, which is crazy for a brand new car. And because the person who bought it was a Canadian diplomat, he actually got a diplomatic discount. So he only paid $941 for it. So kind of crazy. It's gone up in value. Even though it's gone downhill in quality, but it's okay. We're gonna get it back into shape. It's also, I'm not gonna show the name, but the person who sold the car had the last same name as the diplomat who bought the car. Could just be a coincidence, but it is a male and female name, so they could have been related, they could have been married, they could have, she could have sold it to her diplomatic husband. I don't know, it's just the same last name, so I'm imagining stories, I don't know. And I'm not gonna pull out everything from in here, but there are tons and tons of paperwork from like 73 when it was purchased all the way up until, I think the most recent one I saw was 2018 or 2019. And then I have my paperwork in here as well, so from 2022. And it's very interesting. Also, there was a car parts place that I went to in Oakville recently, a few months ago, to get my rocker cover, and so it was actually, something was purchased for the car at that exact same location in 2016, so I thought that was a funny little coincidence. Now that we've gone over all that and I've showed you all of that fun stuff, I just want to kind of go over what my plan of action is going to be when I do tackle and get hands-on with the car. Number one, I'm going to remove the oil, drain it out, clean it out, because I did have those little metal pieces and I want to make sure there's no more metal shavings and clean that all out. Two, I'm going to remove the sump. Number three, I'm going to check for physical damage in the bottom of the engine block. Number four, I'm going to check for metal shavings in the oil, like I said. And number five, if we don't see anything else major that we come across while doing those 4 steps, then I will pull off the cylinder head and I will inspect the connecting rods and the valve seats, and we can figure out what's going on there. I thought I would come out here and show you guys the car. It's been sitting like this for almost like 2 months now. It's just collecting dirt. It's such a sad sight to see. We have a wheat field and all the wheat is just collecting on here. It's been open, but we're gonna deal with this. And yeah, it's just a mess. It's so sad to see it got all dirty, but we're gonna make it shiny and new, and it's gonna look beautiful when I'm done with it. All right, well, that is the end of today's video. Again, I'm so sorry that it took so long to get another episode out to you guys, but it's been crazy. I'm hoping to get out there this week and start working on it. Hopefully I can get a video out to you guys either next weekend or the weekend after. That is my goal. So just stay with me. Again, I am still in summer school working on calculus, which has been crazy, but I'm getting through it. We're almost there. So I will see you guys next week. Have a great one.